take that are back. And while they will still be able to belt out their hits, the backflips and high-energy dance routines of 30 years ago may be more of a challenge this time round. At 52, 55 and 51 respectively, Gary Barlow, Howard Donald and Mark Owen know they will need to get themselves in top shape for a grueling 2 months on the road. But one thing is for sure, their enthusiasm is undimmed. "We're back!" exclaims Gary with an ear-to-ear grin. "We're going on tour and we can't bloody wait." Asked how they will get fit in the run-up to opening night, he says, "Move and get outside, that's what my dad used to say. I've tried everything, I really have. I come from a generation that works out when we're overweight, but I don't think like that anymore." Gary previously overhauled his diet and started a fitness regime after finding himself at 11 pounds and lost 5 stone. This time he needs no such drastic measures. "We set aside 6 to 8 weeks before the tour starts for rehearsals, that is our workout for what's coming," interjects Howard, who complements rehearsals with swimming. Having recently revealed he has an ice bath every day to ease his aches caused by inflammation in his back, Gary speaks often of the F45 workout he does 4 to 5 times a week, a form of exercise that combines cardio, weight and general movement. "It's a mental thing for me and exercise makes me happy," he adds. "I see it as a way of making my mind clearer, which in turn makes my day better." Howard chips in cheekily, "And if there isn't an ice bath available in our hotel, Gary orders ice to fill the bath." More important, Gary says, is keeping his mental health in shape. "I believe in serving my mind these days. I avoid stressful situations. If a job looks like it's going to be a pain, I don't take it. I know I'm very fortunate to be able to make those choices. In the last 6 months, I've taken a lot of apps off my phone. I don't read the news on there anymore, which means I don't feel like I'm taking on the world's problems. Instead, I take on the issues around me, the ones I feel I can fix. It makes a real difference." Mark's fitness journey has been inspired by the habits of the other members of the band. Past and present Robbie Williams famously quit in 1995 while Jason Orange decided to step away 9 years ago. "I've learned more from being around these guys and the circles we're surrounded by," Mark says thoughtfully. "Jason was massively into being healthy, so we learned a lot from him back in the early days. We're lucky that we've had some really good teachers." Howard credits a high-protein diet. "I'm not vegetarian or vegan, but I have lots of vegetables, chicken, steak, eggs, I try to stick to that. I avoid eating wheat or gluten." Speaking in a suite at London's Langham Hotel, they are already looking super fit and are in great spirits, setting each other off with one-liners that have the whole room laughing. Their happiness and camaraderie are infectious. The trio are celebrating 33 years in the industry and will be taking their 9th studio album, This Life, due out on November 24, on tour next year. Tickets for their 32-date tour of the UK and Ireland, which go on general sale this morning at 9:30 a.m., are expected to sell out in minutes. Kicking off at Sheffield Utilita Arena on April 13, with Olly Murs joining the lads as a special guest, they will hit 14 more cities, performing in Leeds, Dublin, London, Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, Middlesbrough, Norwich, Milton Keynes, Southampton, Swansea, and Bristol, including new venues in Manchester, Nottingham, and Plymouth. New single Windows, which was released last Friday, is expected to enter the top 3 in the official charts. Gary is coy on whether Take That might follow in the footsteps of Adele, Kylie Minogue and Usher in taking up a Las Vegas residency. One thing is for sure, they're gearing up for a big stint on the road. Which is why injury is something all three members fear. One wrong move, they say, can rule you out for a show. As you get older, you have to be more careful, explains Howard, who understands the situation all too well, having suffered a collapsed lung during the band's Beautiful World Tour in 2007, which caused him to miss 2 European dates. Mark adds, "I keep wanting to play football, but I don't want to get injured." You get to a point where you just need your body to be working. Howard laughs, "So, we've told Gary he's not allowed to go skiing before we go on tour." On the road, a huge effort is made to soothe muscles. Mark says, "I still love the movement you get from being on stage, and love moving to our songs. That upper body work, stretching the body out." The band opted for a daily magnesium bath post-show, which allows the salts to soak into the muscles and ease any inflammation, helping with sleep. Although, Mark confesses, he misses the more active days of breakdancing on stage. "I'd love to do some of those old moves again, like windmills," he says, referring to a 90s move that involved him rolling on his back while twisting his legs in the air. Perhaps the biggest part of pulling off a 32-date tour without suffering exhaustion is eating well. "We are spoiled rotten," says Gary. "We get sent back to the hotel after a gig with a late-night snack, usually a healthy soup." Mark points out, days off are rewarded with cheese on toast. Gary adds, "I can't drink and sing, though, it's never worked for me. I know it works for some people and it loosens them up, but it makes me ears go funny. I can't tune my voice, so we never have a drink before a gig. After the show is our time to calm down, when we talk about anything that needs improving. We are constantly reviewing things. The first show should always be as good as the last one. We go to the bar then and I might have a glass of red wine." In stark contrast to the band's early days of the 90s, good prep is the key to balanced lifestyle on the road. "I don't remember even packing a case," ponders Mark. "Maybe you'd take a razor or something. Nowadays, I seem to have a lot of stuff. I take a little studio because it's a nice way to settle your mind after a show. And I always have a humidifier. Several humidifiers, in fact. Mostly, the boys agree, being on tour means being as comfortable as possible." Gary says, "I just end up always wearing the same tracksuit bottoms for a few weeks. I'm not a sweaty person, thankfully, they get washed, I promise." Howard adds, "I take my golf clubs, I like catching up with old friends when I go up north, and we try to do that on an 18-hole. Gary grins, with a twinkle in his eye as he says, "Yeah, you don't need to worry about Howard when he has his clubs. He might even squeeze a show in there too," and they all collapse onto the sofa, laughing. Tickets go on general sale from 9:30 a.m. today, September 29th, at GigsandTours. Com and Ticketmaster.co.uk. The album, This Life, is out on November 24th.